listening to and gathering local wisdom from our small businesses is what we're here for today, and hope we have a great Q&A opportunity. I know we're short on time with the SBA, but with our relationships, we want to bring solutions because we know you have challenges with being a small business. So today we've partnered with US SBA, Bridget Moon, who is the expert actually for the PPP, and other small business solutions. As far as small, workforce, I really don't want to take up a lot of time. If you're okay with that, Mike, I think we could, possibly do it in another meeting in terms of workforce. But we're really here if you're hiring or need to hire specific positions or part-time positions. You can contact me and my staff, and I can help you. We also have training opportunities as well. So, and I apologize. Yes, my allergies are acting up, and I'm crying on the screen. But I'd like to just turn it over to Bridget and discuss our second round of PPP and some of the other programs that she has available.
Okay, thank you, Tisha. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having us here at the SBA. As you mentioned, my name is Bridget Moon, and I'm with the Small Business Administration District Office in Dallas, Fort Worth, and we do cover our 72 counties up north, Texas here. Being an economic development officer, and then for those that are my veterans that are attending or listening, and spouses thereof, I'm your veteran business development officer and your liaison to get you the assistance and get you connected with state and federal programs that are out there. So today we're going to talk about the PPP, of course, with the second round, how that relates to the first round. We're going to touch into about the debt relief that's out there as well. We've got the shuttered venue operators grant that's out there as well. So, and then the economic injury disaster loan, which is the EIDL loan program that's out there for COVID-19. So we're going to touch a little bit of everything, but I'm going to give you a presentation. I'm going to share my screen here and make sure that everyone can see that. Let's see here. Okay, everyone can see that okay? Everyone see that?
Yeah.
Nope, we can't see it.
Oh, you can see it. Should be able to. We just had it going just a minute ago. Let's see. Let me get my share screen going again. Okay. How about that?
Yes.
You're good.
All right. Okay, so this is, of course, current as of January 14th, and this is for businesses, nonprofits, and of course from the second round, as they're calling it, from the Economic Aid Act. So it's just a high level overview. Where we are, we're really past some of these dates in this agenda. I know we were just talking about some of the programs that or presentations that have already been given. They're already kind of out of date in a sense, just because information is changing daily and sometimes hourly. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the end, how to keep up to date, even because with this information, updates are still being brought upon us. So basically where we're at with all this is basically the round of PPP is to increase access to COVID relief funding. Of course, for the hardest hit small businesses and those in unserved segments, there is a target to definitely for the outreach for women, minorities, and veterans. So what they did is, I'm going to switch right back over here, is basically did a January 11th rollout for those that never applied for PPP. So they were given an opportunity to jump in and get the assistance mostly from your, what we call CFIs, which is community financial institutions. A lot of those are Lift Fund, People Fund, BCL of Texas, or micro lenders that we work with a lot. So that first opened up, and then it went to January 13th for those that were looking to do their second draw that already applied for the first time. And then it opened up the 15th for the institutions that beyond the CFIs for 1 billion or less in assets. And then just this week opened up to all. And there is a deadline and it's shorter than before. Of course, with in relation to making sure funds don't run out, March 31st. So all applications must be submitted, okay? And so it's real important. We've done so many webinars and outreach to let people know that, hey, we really need you to focus and get the assistance you need to apply before March 31st. So this is that first draw. And so those that are can still apply if they're on their first draw. It's just that they were given that entity that little part of time to get up front and into the lender's firsthand. So the covered eligible expenses are expanded, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then also the covered period is now you have a choice between 8 and 24 weeks after disbursement to determine how you're going to use those funds, okay? And so they did put a little caveat in here, March 31st, and then till congressional appropriations expire, basically when funds run out. So that's why we encourage to get those funds or your application in sooner than later. So something new, the housing cooperatives, the destination marketing organizations, the 501(c)(3)s, such as the chambers, and eligible new news organizations. So still the same things that are eligible prior. Nothing's changed on those. And I'm sorry I'm a little raspy just from all the talking. So I apologize for that. I've been trying to drink water like it's crazy, but with our phones and everything, my voice, I think, is going to give out. So we're going to go into the second draw. So for those that previously received the PPP loan, have 300 employees or less, and this is the most important part, suffered a 25% reduction in gross receipts. So it is important on that to show like for like quarter, okay? So if you're picking the first quarter of 2019 to 2020, if that's the quarter that you feel is where you're mostly hit. So that's something that you need to, look at where that reduction is greater, so you meet that 25%. So here on average, it's going to be 2.5 average monthly of your payroll cost up to 2 million. 2 million is the max on these PPP loans with possible forgiveness. Those that have the NICS beginning code of 72, which is your accommodation, your food services, they go with 3.5, okay? So they allowed a little bit more because I think that a lot of you've seen across all over where more restrictions were placed on them as far as opening, the limitations, etc. Then the second draw, loan applicants must submit the information on SBA form 2483-SD when applying to their lender. Now, there is an update on that. There has, and I think it mentions it in another one slide here, that there's actually two other forms that can be used for loans that are 50,000 or less, and for loans that are 150,000 or less. And what that is, they're more simplified, less documentation, easier forms to fill out. And you can go to sba.gov/PPP PPP, or you can go to /coronavirus. But if you go /PPP, they're being more transparent this time with you actually seeing the forms, the application, the eligibility criteria, even the actual rules that come down. So that way people can really look and say, okay, yes, I can meet this criteria. This application, okay, I can fill this out. Or maybe,
what was
I'm
that
sorry?
website again?
The sba.gov/PPP.
Thank you.
Yes, and it's, look, there, some of these forms and eligibility determination, it sometimes can be convoluted and you can kind of question it. We've always tell people don't over question it. Get the information in, but if you still feel like, hey, I need some assistance, we do have resource partners that can aid in this. We have our small business development centers that have actually gotten additional funding to ramp up that assistance, whether they're hiring CPAs or accountant. And if you do have that in your back pocket, like somebody you use, that's definitely someone you can tap in to help out, fill out those forms or the forgiveness part, okay? Now, one thing I want to let people know is that if they want to apply for that second PPP, but if they haven't turned in their forgiveness form, then the SBA has to make the assumption that they still have money or they don't need money. So you can't apply for the second one. So it's important, if you've applied for that first one, that you get your forgiveness form in, okay? And then you can apply for the second. Now, we've heard people say, I don't have time. I've got this going on. I'm trying to get my business. But unfortunately, SBA has to assume at this, that you have those funds and that you're still spending them. And therefore, you don't need that second round. So for those that say, look, I know I'm going to need it, but I haven't had time to get, spend or submit the forgiveness form, you need to do that. And you need to do it before that deadline of March 31st, okay? So we talked about that. And then we talked about the 25% reduction gross receipts between the comparable quarters. So those are all a must, that you need to make sure those are the criteria that is definitely has to happen. All right. Here, okay, so there was part of the economic injury disaster loan, and that's what EIDL stands for, EIDL. Part of that program, when it first rolled out, there was an advancement payment that acted as a grant that was up to $10,000. And then it was noted that it was $1,000 increments for each employee up to that $10,000 that was actually issued out. And last year, the last year in 2020, they were deducted from your eligible forgiveness. That is no longer the situation. And they're actually going back on those loans that did have that taken out and adding that as a payment for the forgiveness. And that's automatically being done. But my suggestion is always follow up, because banks are very busy with this program. And you want to make sure that if that was subtracted out, that you do get that credit. Okay, so that's definitely a great bonus there. A lot of people are asking about the forgiven PP loans are not taxable income. Expenses paid with the PP loan funds are now tax deductible. However, I believe there's certain forms you need to consult the IRS. And IRS, when I went on there the other day or last week, they actually have a COVID-19 section about the whole thing about what your expenses, what can be done, so forth. So definitely take a look at that, or get an accountant or something, someone to help you in that area. Let's see. Okay, so we've already talked about, it says coming soon. That's already out for the loans, actually for 50,000 and for 150,000. Okay, so it's already out. It's already on our website. Okay. So what people want to know is what do I do? So contact your lender. Now, if you do not have a lender, you can find one on Lender Match, or I know what we get a lot of responses. Look, I don't have a business account, or maybe I don't have an account at all, or I want to switch. I was unhappy with my lender. Can I switch? You can switch different lender than what you applied for. You can, if you want to go to a different lender, and some of them are telling you, hey, you don't bank with us, we're giving first dibs to people that, bank with us, or we extended credit to. We do have a limited list for those that want to contact our office. You can contact us by down there at our webpage or our phone number and say, look, I'd be very interested in the local list of lenders that are taking applications for PPP, whether you are a credit, do business with them. The other means that you can do is we have a lender match, as it shows there, sba.gov/lender match. Now, lender match is normally reserved as a means for startups or existing businesses to look outside their local resources for funding their business. I had someone last week, and I made my supervisor aware, says it's not showing up anything locally for the PPP. They're working on it. I don't know if it's been fixed. That's why we have a local list of lenders that are doing business, whether you with the PPP, whether you're doing business with them or not. But Lender Match is a great tool for that, for those that once it gets up and running again, or for those that need just funding that weren't affected by COVID. It's a means to compare financing locally that you might have looked at and across the United States. It's got over 800 types of lending options in there. And what they do is you're going to put some basic information in, and then usually within 24, the most 48 hours, lenders will contact you, maybe request additional information. Now, we don't suggest, if you're just starting out and you don't have a business plan, not to go ahead and do that, because they're going to request either a business plan or a summary of what you're doing with the funds, what you're doing with the business, or maybe information about your business that's existing that you're looking for funding. So you do have to have some preparation before you jump on that for just regular funding options, okay? We highly suggest going through the bank that you bank with, because if you do business already, or you have a business checking account, they already know that your business, there's the validity of your business being, not fraud. If you've applied the first round, they've already got your information. So there's a little bit of information that's already there that you don't have to redo, so to speak. Again, if you need additional help, you can always go to sba.gov local assistance. Of course, we highly suggest going to, I put our webpage down there, the sba.gov/dx/Dallas@sba.gov. You can sign up for our newsletter there to get all kinds of information about SBA. We have our resource guide that's also on there as a PDF. There's a link. It's right as soon as that comes to our page. It's under our office information on the left-hand side of the screen. It's a great resource. talks about SBA. It lists in the first section all our resource partners in our 72 counties. It'll list our small business development centers, their address and phone numbers. It lists our SCORE offices and their phone numbers, and our Women's Business Center, and those that for our veteran or spouses thereof, our Veteran Business Outreach Center, which is also located in Arlington at UTA. Okay. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at dfwsba.gov. So that's another resource to stay informed as well of everything going on. Of course, you can email me if you have any personal questions. We'll take some questions when I get done talking a little bit about the other debt reliefs and the other venue grants and other things that are out there. But let me go ahead and give you my email, and that's going to be Bridget, spelled BRIDGET.moon@sba.gov. I'm going to hold off on questions just quick because I want to talk a little bit going into the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. What that is that they've allocated $15 billion for this grant program. And I think that what I want to do here is kind of list some of that eligibility, those that can apply. You've got live venue operators or promoters, theatrical producers, live performing arts organization operators, relevant museum operators, zoos and aquariums, but they have to meet some specific criteria, and that's also listed on our website. Motion picture theater operators, talent representatives, and each business entity owned by an eligible entity that also meets the eligibility requirements under this. So they must have been in operation as of February 29, 2020. So if they just started up thereafter, they're not going to be eligible. They must have not received a PPP loan on or after December 27, 2020. So for those that have just maybe applied, you can, and you think, well, wait a minute, I've got 2 million on the PPP and 10 million as a possibility on the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. You can withdraw your application on the PPP if you think you're going to meet the criteria under this Venue Operators Grant. So we just have to kind of do that probably sooner than later before it starts getting processed. Now, way this works, there's still a lot of things coming out on this. So again, to stay, informed, the process is to go to sba.gov, coronavirus. You can go up there. There's a yellow bar, and you can see the different options, and go and read each one as they get updated. But just some highlights to know what you're eligible for is 45% of gross earned revenue. And of course, that maximum amount they can get is 10 million out of that 15 billion that's out there. Now, what they did do is reserved 2 billion for businesses that have up to 50 full-time employees. So they did pull that out, which I think is great. Allow for the little guys to have a chance at some of that money as well. Let's see. Okay, so here's something important. If you were operating on January 1st of 2019 or before, obviously, the lesser of 45% of your 2019 gross earned revenue or 10 million. So that's how that's going to determine. Now, let's say you were, still before operation before 2/29, but let's say you opened up in January 1st or shortly thereafter, in between January 1st and 2/29 of 2020. So after January 1st of 2019, It's going to be lesser the average monthly gross revenue for each full month you were in operation during 2019, multiplied by 6 or 10 million. So the lesser of. And they haven't put out what required documentation, but I'm sure they're going to request tax returns, or if you haven't filed, probably some profit and loss statement, or some kind of monthly, documentation of revenues and expenses. So this is new. This wasn't out before. So again, it will be administered through SBA, but we have not got how or when it's going to open up yet. So that's just something that people need to be aware of, because the PPP does affect what you can apply for here. All right, so one of the other ones is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, and that is open. It closed end of 2020, and they've reopened it for 2021. Okay. Now, if you've never applied, you're going to go in right onto SBA.gov, the coronavirus. You're going to see it. You're going to see it as Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And when you go to it, it's going to have a little red apply. You apply online. So a lot of people were a little weary of that because of they've heard about fraud and getting information, but it does go through a secured means of putting your information in. If you're familiar with some of your figures of your business, your bank information, it takes about 15 minutes. It doesn't take long. It is a loan, though. It is not a forgivable loan. The interest rate is 3.75% for a term of 30 years. It is basically for your working capital needs. They're probably going to request some additional documentation for your business, but it is another means to have some assistance or for recovery purposes.
If we've
Go
drawn
ahead.
that EIDL before, can we do it again? Is this additional?
Okay, so, all right, I'm going to pull off, share my screen to get back on it. Okay, so good question. If you applied prior, wait, my screen's not being, I'm not being, let me get a video back. Okay, so if you applied before, you have been given a SBA application number. That is the same number you're going to continue to use. Do not apply again, because what's going to do, it's going to alert, hey, it's fraud because someone else is trying to apply. Okay, again, if you were, let's say you withdrew your file because you know what, you thought you're going to recover, all things were good, then you can reinstate your application. Let's say that you were declined because for whatever reason, you can ask for reconsideration with documentation that would help or overcome the reason of decline. And if you need that assistance, you can contact our office or reach out again to our resource partners to, say, hey, they're not seeing, my loss. I need help with a profit and loss statement, or maybe I started and I need to show them what was forecasted, whatever that information you might need, they can help out. What you're going to do,
I'm sorry, but so you're saying if we did get it before, you're saying we can still get more, or we cannot get more?
If you did not meet the limit of 150,000,
We did.
you can request an increase. The limit's still 150,000.
Okay, so if we
They
got
have not
150,
increased
we're
it.
done.
You got 150?
Yes,
Yeah. So you've maxed out.
so we're done. Okay.
Yeah. So if you did receive the 150 under the EIDL, very good question. They have not increased that limit at this time. If you've been declined or withdrawn, you can request under, send an email to PDC Recons. So it's PDC RECONS at SBA.gov. You need to put your application number in the subject line and any supporting documentation. Okay, but that limit is 150,000 still. Now, there is something with that EIDL, with that advancement. Remember I talked earlier about the $10,000 advancement? There is some that might have only gotten 1,000, 2,000, but they didn't get the full 10,000. What they're doing on those that did not receive the 10,000, so anything that was received from 1 to 9,000, they're going through all those files that meet a certain criteria of whether it's an underserved area for their business. And you can go online and they're working on getting that list of what that looks like for those communities. And they're going to notify you that you're eligible for those additional funds up to that 10,000. There's nothing that you have to do to that. They're going to contact you, okay, if you're eligible, okay? So that's something new as well, and you're going to see that online as well. The other thing that is going on is the debt relief. And those are basically if you have an SBA loan, such as a regular like SBA like 7A, which is, you know, a lot of businesses use to start up. It's one of our bigger loan programs, you know, 504, there's a list of them. As long as it was in servicing before March 1st, 2020. Last time, on the last one, they did 6 months of payments. They're doing that again through March 31st of 2021. If your auto payments are through that, you will need to go in and get your automatic payments taken off and stop for them to be able to make those next 6 months payment for you. So if you're on, let's say, hey, I had taken out a checking account, you need to go ahead and get that stopped. Now you can still make payments. If you still want your payments, let's say that you want to send a payment in, you can still do that, but it's just going to be counted as a regular payment. But you need to stop the automatic payments in order for them to get your the payments the SBA is going to make for you. So that's definitely another bonus of continuation if you have an SBA, regular SBA loan. Okay. I'm going to touch a little bit on the fraud. Some people have contacted us because they're getting notices on credit report that, hey, I didn't apply for a loan, I didn't have access. If you know of anyone that is part of that, have them contact our office. We'll gather up some information. We also have a process on SBA.gov. You can type in search fraud and it gives you a whole list of things that you can do. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is put a fraud alert on your 3 credit reports. And we'll get it stopped on our side as long as we get you contact us and get that information. So I'm going to just see if there's any additional questions at this time. I don't know if anyone, is everyone can hear me okay?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, my name is Berry, and I did apply for the business loan last year, and I also have a nonprofit organization. I'm here in Collin County, and I wasn't approved for any, and I sent them an email to find out why I wasn't approved, and I didn't hear from them. So how do I go about receiving some help this time?
Yeah, absolutely. If you were declined, there should have been a letter that you received from them via email. If you did not get that, you can contact the customer service number. Was it the EIDL or was it the PPP that you were declined on?
It was at the EIDL economy.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, they did send me an email just to say it was declined. And then I sent them another email to find out why was I declined, but they didn't respond to me, you know.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
had a business and, it went down because of COVID, and I have a nonprofit organization and I didn't get anything from any of them.
Okay. So the letter wasn't clear on the decline. Is that what you're saying?
No, yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So what we can do is you can contact our office and we can look at it further. You would like send us a copy of it and we can have someone at the process and disbursement look at it if we can't determine it for you. Or have you called the customer service number as well?
Yes, I did. Actually, I didn't call them, but I sent them an email. I said, I got an email from you. My loan was declined. And I just wanted to find out why was it declined, but I never heard from them.
Okay, so it might have gotten, lost in the numerous emails, unfortunately, because you should have, the email is disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. They've been, this is the first I've heard that they haven't replied, but that is the email. So make sure that that's the correct email. And then the number that you can call directly them to is 1-800-659-2955.
Okay.
If you don't get any response or an understanding, please contact our, my office, and we'll be glad to further research that for you, because that's important for you to be able to ask for reconsideration, know how to overcome it, right? So we want to make sure you get the tools and explanation that you need to, get that loan.
Okay. Okay, thanks. But just because I was denied last time, it wouldn't affect me this time when I'm trying to apply again.
Okay, so when you applied the first time for the economic injury, you were given an SBA application number.
Yes, I was.
Do not apply again.
Okay.
If you apply again, it'll hold up your files for a long time.
Okay, and I think that's what I did. I was denied. I went ahead and applied again, and I was still denied. And then I sent them an email again, but they didn't respond.
Right. Okay. So that might explain it right there. When you applied again because you were denied and you thought you had to apply again and you got another SBA number, it froze your whole files up.
Oh.
Okay. It froze them up because they thought that someone was trying to use and information, and it marked it as fraud. Okay. So what you probably need to do is contact our office with both application numbers so we can research it further and find out which one you need to go forth. And if there was another reason of decline on the first one, what that is, so you can overcome it and use the first application number, okay?
Okay, so I guess just send them an email or just call them and give them their
Well, you
numbers.
I would contact customer service and make sure that you got the right application number for the first one. Okay. And let them know that you mistakenly, applied again. And so they can mark that you're going to keep the first one active and see if they can determine why it was declined. Okay. Initially. And then if not, contact our district office, 817-684-5500. And we can take additional information and get you your answers for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Betty.
Hey, Bridget, I have a follow-up question on the PPP.
Sure.
So on the documentation to prove the 25% reduction in gross receipts, what type of documentation besides just us sending them like an Excel file? Are they going to look at anything like state sales tax reports that we turned in? What type of things are they going to look for?
Yeah, they'll request, yes, anything that would help document it, whether it's bank statements, your sales reports. Obviously, all that's got to match up and correspond with your tax return. SBA is, in this round, has been a little bit more due diligent. pulling the taxes. Now, there are skeleton reports from IRS. They're not in great detail. So don't be alarmed if a loan officer says, you know what, you're telling me this, but I'm not seeing it. So they might say, give me a hard copy of your tax return to look at those further details. Okay. So sometimes that can be something that's requested, but they're going to let you know there at the bank, hey, I need you to submit this. SBA, when they do the review for the forgiveness, they're going to let them know. So here's the thing. Once you submit that PPP forgiveness, they have 30 days to get it to SBA, and then SBA has 90 days to review it. Okay, so there's a process. And that's just because there's just so many. All right, but they're going to let you know. Hopefully the banks have gotten some experience now to really kind of know and inform you ahead of time what that documentation is going to look like for you, because each entity could be a little different.
I think
Anything else?
yeah, I thought I saw a hand up. BK, are you still there? You had your hand up for a question.
Yes, hi. My name is Betty. I think my questions were answered by the other Betty's responses, so I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So that was a double Betty answer. Well done. Good stuff, Bridget.
Right? Hey, bonus.
Got two Bettys with one answer, I guess. Any other questions?
I have another question. Is it better for me to go through SBA than my bank, or?
As far as EIDL or the PPP?
The PPP?
The PPP can only be administered through a financial institution. SBA doesn't take the applications or administer any of the program. We just guarantee the program for the banks.
Okay.
So what you're seeing online when you go to sba.gov, you're just seeing applications, because before, people were getting the applications from the bank, and, they wanted to be more transparent this time. So they put everything on there, the forgiveness forms, the application, but all that is done through your choice of financial institution you pick.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions?
Mike, can I just make one comment?
Yes.
If everybody would put their email address in the chat session, we'll make sure that we contact you. We've got some additional sessions that are going to be coming up. And so we'll make sure to email you all directly. And then possibly we'll have some other materials that we can email you on these same subjects. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Monday we're planning on at 11:30 a CPA roundtable to get the CPA perspective of what's, and looking at how you do these, each business it's going to benefit or bite you in a certain way if you're not aware of it. So CPAs will help to take it a little deeper and clarify it to the specific businesses. That'll be 11:30. We'll be sending it out via email and posting it on Facebook for anybody who wants to hop on. And if we have no other questions, I want to first thank Angel.
I'm sorry, I do have one question. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the EIDL, if you got approved for the first round up to 50% of your gross revenue, does that mean that you're not eligible to apply for the second round?
Okay, so you're talking about the PPP, not the EIDL then? The
disaster
PPP,
loan assistance.
yeah, the EIDL is different than the PPP. As two separate different programs. The EIDL is just a one-time, loan up to 150,000. If you didn't meet 150,000, you can apply and request, keeping that loan number, just request an increase. Now, if you're referring to the PPP, there's a second round for that, but you have to had or in the process before March 31st, because this is the deadline for the second round, is submit in your forgiveness form on the first round. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Any other questions? Fantastic. Well, and I wanted to recognize Angel, if nobody knows Angel Wygant with the Wiley EDC. We are partnering on a lot of these type of things this year, a lot of lunch and learns and trying to keep our businesses connected. It'll obviously be virtual to start, but hopefully by the time we're done with this year, we're out somewhere to do a in-person lunch and learn. And we appreciate the EDC relationship, and hopefully we can keep working together to impact our businesses in a positive way. I do want to thank Bridget. I was just wanted to ask, how many are you averaging of these a day? Is this a every hour thing for you?
Well, I try to space it out, but you know, a lot of times it's several a day. We've got everybody in the office doing them, because usually it's just the economic team that's doing it. There's 3 of us, but we've got our area director doing them. We've got our business opportunity specialist doing them. So because it's just a short window of time for to get this information out, and so yeah, we're very busy with not just the presentations but the phone calls.
Oh,
Yeah, because a lot of people with the economic injury disaster loan, they're seeing the address Fort Worth. So they're thinking they're calling the disaster office when actually they're calling the district office. So we're getting probably 3 times the calls than normal, because people think, oh, I'm checking the status, because that the process disbursement center doesn't really have an active phone number listed on the website. They just have an address for people or the email, because if a lot of people got phone calls, they would never be able to process loans. This is how busy it is. So they try to divert those calls to a customer service line, such as I gave out earlier, or you know, a phone number, or I mean, an email address, or for them to, you know, reach out to. So.
well, I can tell you, we appreciate you coming out and trying to make a little sense to the chaos for us. And if you're calling or emailing the SBA, please be patient. I don't know that they have their pandemic ramp up double staff or anything going on over there. They're trying to get through it like everybody else is. And but we appreciate you taking some time today to help us clarify, and we'll keep trying to do that as we go forward here. Let's see, Tina, did we want to give away something? I think we got a door prize or something we want to give away. Let's see,
We
especially
do. We
for
have a couple things.
those folks that stuck around and didn't leave. You get a reason. Here's the reason: because you get on the wheel of prizes. Some might have left already. Tina, what's the first one? I want a Connection t-shirt. Our magazine is the Connection. You get a colorful, beautiful Connection t-shirt if your name is former mayor.
Yay!
Eric, I may have a rodeo t-shirt I could work for you there. That'd be cooler.
I never have won anything, so that's cool.
Good start. All right. And then I got another t-shirt. It's a chamber t-shirt. We're going to throw a chamber t-shirt to somebody, and that would be, oh yeah, Angel Wygant.
Oh, yay.
You get a
Put up
chamber
in either.
t-shirt.
Yay.
You could trade with Eric if you want the rodeo t-shirt, or just talk to me. I could probably work that too.
We'll work it out.
All right, and now our grand prize, Tina, we have 2 $15 gift cards to B&B Theater.
We do.
So that would be a movie and popcorn for 2, or a matinee for 2. Or I don't know how much a matinee costs anymore, but B&B tickets coming to. Did Eddie leave?
No?
Eddie, make sure you put your email in so we know where to send it. All right, stop sharing, and we're back.
There.
So Eddie is here. Hopefully Eddie puts his email in the chat.
I got it.
All right. Well, we'll make sure Eddie gets that. And then, like I say, next week, Monday, 11:30, a CPA roundtable. Some of you who are the number one, because I can see who you are, because you kind of went, ooh, cool.
I will
Not-
encourage everybody to jump on that CPA call, because we're hearing from the banks that the applications that they're getting that are prepared by CPAs just kind of go right through with very little delays. And if it has to go back, it can result in an extensive delay. And these CPAs are on the front lines of getting these things prepared and in, and can kind of help you, I think, with the the pitfalls to avoid, basically.
Right. And let me just tap a little bit into that. Do not piecemeal it. Submit a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there, because what that does is just kind of puts you at the bottom of the pile, because it's set aside waiting for the full amount. Wait till you have everything together to submit. And I highly, highly encourage with this CPA to jump on if you have any questions on the forgiveness part. It's absolutely, she nailed it. Those that are being prepped, they're by a CPA or accountant, they are a lot smoother. They're crossing their T's and dotting their I's, so those can get done and submitted, and so that way you can move on, to the second round easier too. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And Bridget, thank you again for hanging out with us and kind of putting a little bit of clarity to it. We'll keep digging down. And when we get to the point where you all have the money and you want to know what to do with it, that's when you call me, because I can help you out with that. But otherwise, we go Monday, and then Tuesday, we actually have State Representative Candy Noble will be hopping on a Zoom call to give us a legislative preview. As you know, the legislative session in Austin started, I think, last week, and give it we want to know what the hot topics are, but then, also, I don't know that right now they're letting visitors come down to Austin. So we get a little update on what's going on for those who might want to head down and enjoy the session. Anything else, Tina? Did I miss anything?
No.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Eric, we're going to get you on for one of these and maybe do a magic show. That'll be, we'll have you kick off the CPA one, so everybody get
I can
excited.
show you my new trick I got, handmade. It was my birthday present from Tammy. I really cashed in good. It's $600.
Wow.
Magic ain't
cheap. That's true. You got to make some more money up here when you're a magician.
That's right.
Well, anyway, I think that's about it. We got out of here almost within an hour and give you guys more time to get to your day. And I appreciate all you coming, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.